Alberto Schiavon is in Melbourne for the World Barista Championships, where for the first time, competitors are doing their thing using Barista Attitude machines. The machines themselves are backed by the half-century pedigree of CMA, but they're servicing a new customer, a barista, a cafe owner, or even a multinational chain that's looking for something a little bit different, a little bit 21st century. At the same time as they're digitizing the coffee making process, Barista Attitude are working to reintroduce the humanity into coffee with a focus on hospitality and zoning in on the barista's role in our daily lives. Hi, my name's Tom Andronis, and with me is Dave Burchett, and we're very excited to welcome Barista Attitude Sales Manager Alberto Schiavon to the Coffee Lab. Welcome, Alberto.
Thank you very much.
And welcome back to Melbourne.
Thank you very much. That's love to be here.
It's been a few years since you've been here. Have you noticed anything that's changed? I think you only landed yesterday, but have you noticed anything different?
No big difference. I'm always nice city. Always lovely to be here. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. So
really?
Always happy to be here. Yeah.
Why do you like it?
It's like the way you live is like very, you can live very easily. It's just good compromise between like American style and European style. It's nice.
Yeah, right.
And then your coffee is like amazing. So
That's
a big part. Let's make a big part.
Have you managed to have a coffee since you landed? You had a couple?
already some of them. Yeah.
Have you noticed any changes post-pandemic in what's going on in Melbourne and coffee?
No big change. Maybe during the exhibition we'll have some new coffee to try, so maybe that we'll see some new thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And we in Melbourne we consider ourselves a bit of a coffee hotspot, a bit of a coffee mecca. Yeah. You're from Italy, obviously. Yeah. Are we right? Is it actually as good as we think it is as a coffee city, Melbourne?
Yeah, coffee capital for sure. you guys are a trendsetter. So what happened here, then you replicate in some other countries. Yeah, no, it's good.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
we've far away from Italian way, but
we verified our status, Dave. It's
fantastic. We're getting there.
Good result. So let's get stuck in. I mean, Barista Attitude is a new thing that you guys are sort of bringing to market, but it's come out of CMA, which has been around for a long time, since the 1960s. So before we get into Barista Attitude, tell us a little bit about CMA and where that's come from.
Yeah, CMA is like historically more than 50 years. We're based in the northeast of Italy, close to Venice, and we produce machines like historical for traditional coffee ones, so with the brand Astoria CMA. And then in the last 6 months, we've launched the Barista Attitude in Milan for the World of Coffee Milan. It's a new thing for the specialty, for the high levels baristas, where something a bit different than our traditional brand like Astoria and Wega. We started from store, which was produced some years ago, and then we make some steps, and now we got the Barista Attitude with Tempesta, which is the new machines for the WBC, which happen next week here in Melbourne. It's been a long journey, but we're very excited. It's going to be huge.
It's really nice to see you. We've known each other for quite a few years, and we were saying it's been 2018 since
last time
we last saw each other. Yeah. For me, it's been really interesting watching the journey of CMA and this whole Barista Attitude project. What's the reaction been from the market, though? Because, we were speaking earlier even about how different the market is in Italy versus the export market. Obviously, I work in the market here, but I feel Australia is a real driver for innovation when it comes to coffee equipment and coffee globally. What's the reaction been to the Barista Attitude range?
But the biggest thing is that people were surprised because we were not expecting from CMA getting these kind of machines. I mean, we are huge expert of coffee machines in terms of technology, in terms of everything, but that was completely new things for us in terms of design, in terms of user. So this time we involved the baristas on the charge, we involved the design on what we're doing to get the machine. So I remember you were one of the one asking us to get this kind of machines because of course Australia, everything happened here is like years before then and what happened in the rest of the world. So
Dave, not only have we confirmed Melbourne's culture, coffee capital status, but we've also confirmed that you're a trailblazer yourself. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I do remember though, like I was fortunate enough to visit the CMA factory in Susegana, and it seems like I was staying in Conigliano, and it seems to be that two things happen in that area. machine manufacturing and Prosecco.
Yeah. That's the Prosecco
And that's
Hills.
about it. It was really interesting.
Sounds like a great place.
It was a wonderful
You
place
get good
to visit.
ideas if you mix together sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So sorry, go on.
I remember, we were talking about all of the things that we would like to see in the machine, and it seems like you've done every single thing that we spoke about all those years ago. So not only from obviously myself and other people that were representing your brands around the world, was it due to collective feedback in multiple countries, or was it because of Australia that you first looked at as the market? Or
No, I mean, you got the first ideas coming from here, but in the last 10 years, the market changed very fast, and especially it's very different from what we got in Italy. So for a manufacturer, it's not easy to understand. It's not easy, but it requires a bit of time to understand what happened out of Italy for on the coffee thing. So of course, Australia was one of the first. Then we got other countries like America and UK. All Asia now is traversed and crazy with Barista Attitude. But also Europe is becoming a big market for us because people require, and especially baristas, want to get a nice machines and want to use like all the technology and to use the machines to extract the coffee, his own coffee. They feel like it's better his own coffee.
Yeah,
because you can personalize.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've established already that CMA has been around for a long time and has made very traditional machines. What with these new machines? Why did you feel it was important to relaunch or launch Barista Attitude as its sort of own brand?
That's the biggest challenge for us because it's a new things. The market is quite busy, but I think coffee business is always open to new things. So we have a big reaction from people because we got new things to present. Of course, the product is the most important thing. We got the technology, we got the design. People want to try the machines, and the reaction is really good. It's fine. Of course, we're collaborating with high-level baristas worldwide who can give us all the feedback that we need to get from the people who's using the machines every single day. So, yeah.
And when you built the brand, or I mean, presumably you're still building the brand because a brand is an organic thing. But you put together a manifesto or like tell us about the Barista Attitude Manifesto and why that was important for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was important because, as you said, we got something new from something was like CMA is something in the market since years. So to get something new, we need to create an imagine about that. So we got our values. We take care about, of course, energy saving. The biggest point for us is the hospitality. The new thing is hospitality. We think that you can get good cup of coffee, you can get good machines and everything, but hospitality, how you make coffee, how the figure of the baristas, the work of the baristas is very important. So we are studying and we're talking with our baristas to understand how the better baristas you can have to be. Okay, so it's not just about coffee. We try to get a total experience about that.
Yeah, and it's almost gone full circle. Like the concept of hospitality is where this all started, right? And now you've gone to like the extremes of technology, which we'll talk about soon. And now you've gone back to hospitality again, as the sort of crucial ingredient, in the coffee making process.
And it's not easy because being a barista, you work for 8 to 10 hours with a lot of people coming in. You always have to smash. It's not easy. Everybody has his own problem, request, people come. So it's not easy. But we think it's really important also to cover that aspect of.
I think it's interesting what you guys have done because, for me, from my experience, when you think about the consumer or the customer and you're led by what they want, you'll generally win because you'll generally produce something that they would like. And this has been a long journey for CMA really because you had even the Plus for Champions as the World Latte Art sponsor.
Yeah.
So I imagine you would have learned a lot from the baristas using the machine then around what they would want as far as technology, ergonomics, and looks, and So and then this is the final product now that you're.
We did a lot of stuff. So you cannot build something from 0 to 10 without something in between. So it took time. It took collaborations with baristas, a lot of internal fight because it's part of the game. But I think now we get a good. Of course, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. It's just the first thing of Barista Attitude. Behind that, we're going to get new machines, new things, new project. So it's going to be like first steps of a long way.
So your initial concept, meeting happened in a room, and you had, yourself from sales, and you had presumably marketing and design and engineering and servicing all in the room, kind of throwing the ideas around. And out of that was born the Storm, correct?
Yeah.
As the
we
first
got
machine.
baristas in also.
Yeah. So basically everyone that was part of is part of the coffee making and coffee machine process was kind of in the room. You came out with the Storm, and now you've graduated to the Tempesta, which is being used in the World Barista Championships here in Melbourne. Take us through some of the technology that now operates inside that machine.
Yeah. Storm and Tempesta was two models, quite similar. We got some difference in terms of design, and it looks like some materials, but technology inside is similar. It's the same. It's a multi-boiler system, which we took from our years of experience with CMA. We just make it more attractive. So that's the biggest challenge we got, is like a nice machine with the same technology in a smaller body. So there we start in the first fight between designers and engineers and baristas and everything. Energy saving is really important. We got some systems too, especially now with all the problem with electricity and stuff. For us, it's a really big point. Energy saving, temperature control. We got also pressure profile, pressure control. This is allowed to, as I said before, every barista can have his own coffee. So it felt like really his own coffee. So that's the main point. We got something new coming out, which is, we will find out.
You don't want to give us a little hint?
We get ideas, so we need to make it like together and finalize.
Yeah.
But this I think for that kind of machines, technology is one of the main point.
And they're touchscreen machines, right?
I think the thing is as well, like everything about your thermal system on your machine is about espresso quality, and also about giving the barista their own personal experience of what they can have for coffee. I think commercially, from a business owner's point of view, what's also important to highlight is that actually gives you consistency as well. While the barista has that control to get the recipe and get the flavour that they would like, customers would like to know that they're going to get consistency in a high quality product every time. And I think a lot of the innovations and the tech that you're putting into your machines are helping deliver that. But when you talk to people in the market, do you feel that how important is brand and how important is reliability? So when you have a discussion with a customer, and it doesn't have to be in Australia, it could be anywhere in the world, do they just say to you, I love the brand, I love how the machine looks, I think it's great? Or do they say, well, what sort of support is there? How reliable is the machine?
It's a mix of things. Brand is important. Of course, we're a new brand, but now we are, especially with the World Barista Championship, we're going to let people know us. And of course, it's a mix of this reliability, especially when you talk with the biggest, with the chains, they ask us a lot of like a package service. You were mentioning about the touchscreen we're selling is the biggest. The biggest sales point for us is that the touchscreen is just in front of you. So everything happen, you can see. Don't need an application.
It's like an iPad with a coffee machine attached to it.
So if there's something wrong, you can always find it, and it's completely separate. So if you got something wrong on one group, the other machines just keep running. That's it. And then of course, it's a mix of everything. Now, design is a really important thing. I would say energy saving and design. Sustainability also is really important. The good things of these machines is that also the flow rate control, when you set, you get the possibilities to set. So when you reach your perfect flow, you can save, and the machines will replicate very very constant in the future, let's say.
That makes sense. And I mean, with all of this technology, you're obviously then collecting a whole lot of data and information, for each of the users or the people that are using these machines. How important is that data, and how is it being used?
We got a telemetry system. This is important, especially for the chain.
So like big multinationals.
Yeah, like international chains, because they want to, first of all, to check which is all the data. They need to understand which is the drink they use more, which is the best seller drinks, and all the things. And then for service point of view, it's really important because you can control the machines. Many times our engineers just go in there and there's a very small things that you don't need to go there. But through the telemetry, you can check it and see what's wrong, or go in there already knowing which is the problem. So that's the thing.
And then how do the internationals or the bigger brands, how do they use the data? Like, is it about making sure that, for example, the person operating the machine might not be an expert, they might not be a barista. So how does the quality of the machine and the data that it collects make the product better and more consistent for those users?
Yeah, I think, data is something they use for its own, so they own the data, we're not allowed to get them. Consistency is something they want to replicate, like, as you said, there's the biggest point of the chain is that you got a huge turnover, and they want to replicate, the people want to find the same coffee all around the world, so they want to get always the same recipe. And this is something that the machines, you can control the temperature and fix it and the flow, and you can replicate it. So that's, of course, then is also about grinders and stuff. But in terms of machines, you can control quite easily. Yeah.
Yeah, the telemetry excites me. I think it's such an important feature to have as a manufacturer now. I think the real unsung feature or the benefit of a telemetry platform now in like post-COVID as well is around patterns of how busy your business is. And people don't often think about that. Like they go, oh, well, I can see how many shots of coffee I've done, or I can see the temperature that the coffee was extracted at. For me, if I owned a cafe, I'd be going, how many people do I need on at these times of the day? Do I have too many staff on in the morning, or do I not have enough? Am I getting milk delivered regularly enough, or am I having it delivered too regularly for what I'm using? So I think it's those sorts of analytics that will bring a lot of value to the consumer. So if you pair that with a great looking machine with great technology that's going to prepare consistent coffee for you, it appeals to everyone.
And this is also related to the energy saving, because sometimes you can check when it's your peak time, so you can switch it off some group, or you can get a sleeping mode. In some chains we got 2 machines, so you can switch it off one machine. So it's all related. Yeah.
And so how does that, we've talked therefore about very big businesses and how they're using the machine. What sort of feedback are you getting from very small businesses, whether it's, individual baristas or whether it's individual cafe owners and managers? Because the machine appeals to both groups or, all groups. What sort of feedback are you getting from those small operators?
But in terms of telemetry, for them is a bit less important, because at least you don't need to check the machines remotely, but all the information you can get on the touch screen. So this is a bit less important for them. Regarding the machines, they are very enjoy it, because for them, especially the owner, where they spend a lot of time inside, they found that the machines is ergonomic, the looks is really important, and it's part of the furniture at that time. And of course, as I said, technology helped them to extract every single cup. He felt like his own cups.
So even though we've been trying to get you to tell us, I know that you won't, about diversifying the range and new espresso machine models, so I'm sure that we'll see those when we're allowed to see them. But I noticed you released a grinder as well, a Faro?
Faro grinders.
So that's a new thing. From what I understand, as far as your group, you haven't really. I know you've always supplied grinders, but this looks like your own specific grinder. Can you tell us a bit about the machine?
Yeah, that's also is coming just a bit after of the machines. It's a really new product. It's like 1 year product. It's how you look like. It's very related to the machine, so you can feel it's part of the machine. Taking about the legs, you can decide it like wood or stainless steel, and then of course it's high level grinder. So you got 83 mils. You get like 2 fan to control the temperature. All the requirement that the grinders have to have. And also for the grinders, we include one of our brand ambassadors to let us understand what they really need, because of course specialty things need something's a bit different than the other one.
Yeah. So we've mentioned a couple of times that you're in Melbourne for the World Barista Championships, which are happening next week. You know, this is a big thing for Barista Attitude, right? The Tempesta is being used as the competition machine. What sort of opportunity does that represent for Barista Attitude?
But for sure, it is a big visibility, first of all, because SCA is really recognized worldwide. So for us as a new brand, give us the chance to let people understand what we are, what we do. Try the machines because, of course, now in Melbourne we're doing the World Barista Championship, but we had a lot of national competition that have been made with our machines, and a lot of baristas would ask us to give them the machines to try to practice because these guys are really serious. I mean, they're good. So they want to come here being really prepared on what they're going to make it. So yeah, and for us it's also important because we got a lot of feedback from different kind of market, different kind of coffee, high levels coffee, will allow us to get some small things, small adjustment on the machines that is really important for us. We always want to talk with these guys because at the end of the day, it's the ones who using and who getting the better coffee you can find worldwide. So this is the guy we need to listen.
Absolutely. So, you know, we've spoken a lot about, you know, the power management system in the machine, like green line technology, I think is the term that you use for it, which is really interesting. As far as sustainability in the future generally, what do you see for CMA as a manufacturer and in the industry for 5 years from now?
That's a huge question.
Yeah. Sorry, no pressure.
No, of course. No, everybody now is talking about energy saving. The real thing is try to understand what you do concrete about that. So, of course, on the machines, we had a lot of sell things about the energy saving, especially now with all the problem we got with Russia, especially in Europe. So, energy saving is really important, and our patent is very high recognized about you can really save some money for the business at the end of the year. And, of course, all the machines, we use a lot of materials we can be recycling on the machines and also in the factory. In the productions, all our... we bend all the things, all the chassis, and so we all the small things we reuse and resell to company who recycling all that things. We try to get like kind of plastic free in the factory, so we not use bottle anymore. We just use the big water tank and stuff. All small things that is going to help us to go in this way. So which is important.
That's a lot of detail, though, to be thinking about, you know, from a sustainability perspective. Why do you think it's so important that the coffee industry is thinking that way?
But of course, it's important for coffee industry. It's important worldwide. Everyone is talking about it. Every industry, and I think that coffee have to follow that things because, you know, coffee is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we need to think also about that. And it's also because coffee is like a young generation love coffee, so I'm expecting it to keep growing, especially in some country which is developing now. So coffee is going to be a huge thing in the next year, so we need to take care about that things on all the production, from the production till the manufacturer to everything. So
it makes me really pleased to hear that you're walking the walk rather than just talking about things that need to be done. There's a lot of, I suppose you could say, greenwashing out there where people just go and plant a heap of trees to sort of cover up what they're doing. So to hear that you're actually actively trying to reduce your impact, even the fact that I know this has been just more from a production standpoint, but for years that you run a lean manufacturing system and you don't carry stock of things that you don't need.
Exactly.
I always thought that was really progressive. Like even years ago, like I'm talking 2015 and before. It's been like that for years with CMAs. So to hear that has continued and that the things are being reused where possible, that's fantastic.
It's not easy because, of course, in an industry you cannot change completely the way you produce things, but you try, small things, which is getting bigger and bigger. So for sure, we're trying to go in this way.
So before we wrap up, we like to ask a standard set of questions to each of our guests. And so, If you could give yourself some advice at age 20, what advice would you give yourself?
Wow. So we're talking about like more than 10 years ago.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how old you are. Maybe it was like 2 years ago. I don't know. So like
No. Wow.
It could be anything. It could be, Alberto, don't drink the tap water in that country when you go.
No.
or try the fettuccine.
Yeah, no,
like,
no.
you know.
No, I think that's, related to the tap water in that country, I think, if I can like go back 10 years, 15 years ago, I would love to. I did a lot of experience traveling, met people around, but it's never enough, man. Like, so try to see what is outside over there and see new things, new experience. I think is the biggest point for you to make you like learn things, make you richer. I travel quite often, but as I said, it's never enough. You got a lot of things to do. You let a lot of people to understand new things, new food, new everything, new experience, which the real things make you grow. Yeah.
So with the business at the moment, obviously it's been a really challenging environment running through COVID, trying to keep the business running. Now that we're hopefully getting out the other side of COVID.
Easy, Tiger.
Hopefully life is a little more normal. What are some of the biggest challenges that you are facing as a manufacturer, and what are you doing to try and get past those challenges?
The biggest thing we got now, I think, is the raw material and the transportation thing. So in like 6 months, everything is more expensive. It's very slow, and we took more time. So you need to plan better your production. We are a huge company, so you need to plan everything, and it's not easy. Like thinking about what's gonna happen in the next 2 years. So that's the biggest challenge we're having now. Plan and think about new products, new thing, because this require a bit more time to develop for all the things that's happening around. That's, I would say, is the biggest challenge for us now at the moment.
What's the most important lesson that you've learned over your career?
I get a big teacher. I think our job is about listen people, talk with them, try to understand the needs and stuff, and bring it on. Yeah, we're sales guys, so we need to understand what the guys needs and what they require and how they're feeling about something, and try to find them a solution, make it easier.
So the final question,
yeah,
if you could start another business tomorrow that's not coffee machines,
yeah,
what would it be?
I love sports, so I play basketball. So not good level, but so maybe something attract me is sports. So maybe something related to sports or travel. I love travel. So, but I think that these are the two main things. I don't know what can be like what I can do on that, but for sure something related to sports or to travel. Yeah.
Alberto Schiavon, thank you so much for joining us in the Coffee Lab, and enjoy the rest of your trip.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alberto.
Thank you.